Hi everyone, Joe from Void Spiral here, and I just wanted to do a quick and dirty how-to making of type of video about how I made the Kickstarter video for Oubliette, the Dark Fantasy RPG. So, say I have some art and I have some pictures because this is a tabletop RPG and I don't really have in-game video of it. What I want to do is a kind of Ken Burns style clip show type of thing, and to do that I'm going to use Blender and Audacity. Why Blender? Well, I tried iMovie and OpenShot and Premiere and Lightworks and some other things, and they all didn't quite work for me for various reasons. Some of them weren't stable enough, some of them just didn't have time to get into the workflow, and some of them I just didn't want to pay the money for. So uh, why Blender? It's stable, it's free, it's open source, and it doesn't really corrupt my files very frequently, and I already use it for some other things, so that's a good vote in its favor. I've been trying to get this kind of thing to work for a while in Blender, and I stumbled across the proper workflow for it, in my opinion, just recently for this video. So here we are in the video editing um, setup layout in Blender, and this is where you would normally do clips and editing and intercuts and transitions and things like that, but we're actually not going to really do any of that in here aside from just layering things over top. So what you can see is here's the actual scene itself. This is where the actual video is going to come from, and then below that are the audio file that I got from the Free Music Archive, Anxiety by Engel, which is a great track. Um, and then my audio, which I recorded uh, in Audacity. And then above that, we've got a couple other little things that I'll get to at the very end. But mainly, there's just one scene worth of video that goes all the way across it here. And I don't do any of the editing or cutting or transitions in the nonlinear editor here. I actually do them in normal 3D view. I've got this specially set up. I've got one view that's got the actual camera view, and then I've got one that's in the 3D over here. And as you can see, at one point I had a lot of different images that I was going to use. So one of the most important things about setting this up to use the 3D view for your animations is these markers. And back in the video editing view, I listened through all of my video and put markers at the breaks in the audio. So if I were to play this right here, the game is set in Oubliette. You can see that that marker is right at the end and beginning of a new sentence, paragraph type of thing, where where it would be a good place for me to break up the video. So those markers I go through and make for each different little section of the video, and those kind of give me the quote-unquote cuts of the video. And then in the 3D view, I can use those same exact markers to keep track of where my animation should be keeping up with. So as you can see, the different video clips kind of keep track with those markers and hit those little moments of the audio. I go through them all. Um, and then what I do, instead of using the nonlinear editor for the video portion of it, I actually just use the normal keyframing tools for 3D. And that makes it easy for me to make complicated moves and scale and resize things um, without having to resort to the more complicated and kind of annoying ways that Blender deals with scaling video and different images and stuff in the nonlinear editor. So this way I can just handle something like the logo here just by moving it back and forth and keyframing it. I did use the image planes plugin to get all these images in here. I basically just selected all the images that I felt like I might use in the video and then imported them as planes, and then that allows me to just position them and rotate them and scale them in whatever I need to do. So once I've got one of these planes in there, I of course keyframe it from frame to frame using the I guess this is the keyframe editor, curves editor, and that allows me to adjust, where it's going to be at what time, and it allows me to synchronize the keyframes with the markers. You can see the markers down here along the bottom, so that makes it easy for me to kind of say, oh, I need this to be over here, so that as it comes in, it lightens from that point. And that's basically the whole thing. As I scroll through, you can see in the 3D view, scrub through rather, the way the different images pan back and forth. That's all just individual keyframing on each different object. Some of these are only animated in one axis, and they just go on and off of screen. And that's pretty much how I did the entire video, is just pushing and pulling normal keyframes back and forth, which is a lot easier for me than trying to hassle with Blender's system for doing video moving and intercutting type stuff, because for that you have to use these crops and offsets and things, and it's hard to get things to rescale to the proper size instead of to the size of the video. Okay, and then now that we're back here in the video editing layout, you can see that there are a couple other clips above the actual video, and these are simply just the little visual tricks that I put over the top of it, kind of like post-processing effects. The darkness around the edges, the vignetting, the border that gets put on there, that's just where these go, because they go across the entire video, so there's no need to put them in the this method for creating Ken Burns style videos may not work for you, but this is how it worked for me, and it was basically free aside from the time I had to put in on the art and getting the video put together. Creative Commons sound, and recorded my own audio for the vocal part, and that was basically it. So thanks for watching.